In this video, we're going to suppose that y varies directly with x, and y is equal to 8 when x is equal to negative 2. Now we're going to use that to write a direct variation equation that relates x and y, and then we're going to use that equation to find y when x is equal to 5. So we have two things going on here. We want to first of all write the direct variation equation, and then second of all, after we discover what that equation is, we want to find y when x is equal to 5. So to figure out what our direct variation equation is, first of all, we need to figure out what it means for y to be varying directly with x. So notice I have that in blue, and the reason for that is anytime you see something like y varies directly with x, what that's really saying is y is equal to some constant k times x. And k is usually the constant we use, but essentially that's just going to be the constant of variation. It's going to be a number that's multiplied by x. And so that, what you see in blue, those are interchangeable. And that's the kind of thing you want to look for in these problems so that you can turn the words into an equation. So now we know that y is equal to k times x. We also are given a particular y value and a particular x value that match up. So when x is negative 2, y is 8. So let's go ahead and plug those values in the place of y and x in our equation that we just wrote in blue. So in the place of y, we're going to put 8 equals k. We don't know what that is yet. And in the place of x, we're going to put negative 2. And what we're going to do here, we can solve for k, and that's going to tell us what our constant of variation is. And so in order to do that, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. Divide by negative 2 there. And 8 divided by negative 2 is going to give us negative 4 is equal to k. And so what we just did is we just did kind of an intermediate step that's going to help us solve our first question. And that is to write a direct variation equation that relates x and y. So to do that, all we have to do is take this k that we just found, the actual number, and plug it back into the original equation that we translated from the problem in blue. So now, instead of y is equal to k times x, we know that y is going to be equal to negative 4 times x. And so that's going to be our answer to the first problem. That's a way of relating x and y to each other. So essentially, if you want to come up with your direct variation or an inverse variation equation, you just want to come up with that equation right there where you solved for k. So now for the second part of this problem, we want to find y when x is equal to 5. Well, we just found the equation that relates x and y, so all we have to do is if we want to find y, so we're going to say y is equal to, we know that k is negative 4, and we know that x is going to be equal to 5. And then, of course, we're just going to multiply on the right-hand side. Negative 4 times 5 is going to give us negative 20. And that's going to be the answer to the second question right there. So using what we found for the first part, in the second part, we're just going to put a 5 in the place of x. And we're going to solve for y to get y is equal to negative 20. And that's it.